And this has been my kitchen.
I told you we were going to add some color to your life in the next episode of Cooking with SonicBlu. And that's exactly what we're going to do, too. And rather than listening to some random music in the background that is usually Creative Commons, I got a different idea in mind. We're going to listen to the self-help of Richard Simmons as he tells us to polish up our rainbows in some self-help thingamabobber about polishing your rainbows and becoming a better, more happier person and embracing and polishing your rainbows. Take it, Richard.
Hi, it's Richard. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Richard.
I hope you're feeling great today.
I'm feeling really great.
Someplace very, very
It may be a little bit annoying to have a voice over mine while he's speaking, but it has a lot of beautiful rainbow music in it, as you can hear in the background. But anyway, let's get started here. Today we are going to make rainbow bagels. Why am I listening to Richard Simmons in the background? Why not? It's something new. This is something new. That's something new. Welcome to Something New with SonicBlu. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make rainbow bagels, which means we're going to make a big ball of dough separated into 6 portions, and then each portion gets their own color. And it's going to follow the exact colors of the rainbow.
Has that ever happened to you?
So let's put those guys aside. We're also going to make confetti cream cheese to go into them. And we have the rainbow sprinkles to do it. So, let's get started, shall we? We need
I feel so alive, especially when the sun peeks out from behind the
We need a
clouds.
1 1/4 cups of water to start out with, but we're not going to get that yet. We're going to get all of our dry ingredients together first. So let's go to our first dry ingredient, which is going to be the flour.
Here, look. It's in front of you. A rainbow in the sky.
We're going to need 4 1/2 cups of bread flour. This is bread flour. As you can see, bread flour. This is the most effective to use while making stuff like bagels and bread. Anything bread related that you want to make, use bread flour. So I'm going to open this bad boy up.
Put a little flour on the counter.
Well, it'll go everywhere. It's pretty much inevitable. We need 4 1/2 cups of this stuff.
We see the flour is opening up.
The flour is opening up, Richard. You're right. There goes 1 cup.
I want these words to open us up so that we can experience the beauty of the colors of our lives. And when we do, when we open up, we'll find
That's
our
2.
rainbow. And if
We're going to find our rainbow in this recipe, Richard. Don't worry.
feel flat and lackluster, please don't worry. That's why I'm here. We'll polish them up, and everyone will see us shining as radiant as we are.
There's 3 cups.
I'd like to share a story with you. When I was little and living in New Orleans, sometimes the skies just opened.
Whoa. Oh, hello.
Rained and rained and rained. Sometimes I felt a little like Noah.
Let's get some of that, a little bit of that out of there. There's 4.
I take off my shoes
And then we just want a half more.
Oh, did I ever get soaked? I was wet from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet.
That's about a half. That's good enough. And that's probably about half, well, almost half the bag. Not quite half the bag, but almost. Okay, now we're going to put that aside. And then we're going to go for 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Here is our tablespoon. And we're going to need, oh, back on there. We're going to need 3 tablespoons of this stuff. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the sugar in one side of the bowl. Just keep it to one side of the bowl. Don't just dump it in. I'll show you why in a minute. There's 2.
I just wanted to wash away all those hurts. Did you ever do anything like that?
3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Okay, now I'll show you why.
You can wash away those low thoughts. You can wash away those hurtful.
We're going to go to our Fast Rise Instant Yeast. And we're going to need scissors out here, aren't we?
Turn us into Mayflowers. And there we are, sitting
All right.
under that magnificent rainbow with a big smile on our face.
Scissors
feeling
right there.
all those wonderful, brilliant colors.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see what one package makes. Doesn't really say, but we'll find out. Listen to that music. Okay, here's the yeast. And we're needing 1 tablespoon of yeast, and we're just going to measure it right in there. Okay, so 1 package is 1 tablespoon. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to put the tablespoon of dry active yeast away from the sugar on the opposite side of the bowl. Do not mix those together.
Not yet, at least.
We don't want them to feed off of each other just yet. Now, we're going to need 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of veggie oil, and we're just going to put that away from everything else, so right about there, and 1 right over there. If it has to go to one or the other, let it go to the sugar, not the yeast. And that's 2 tablespoons. Last but not least, the water. Let me see if that is 1 1/4. It is 1 1/2. A little bit out of there, and we'll have 1 1/4.
They're so light and airy, aren't they? Now picture in your mind
1 1/2. A little more.
Picture it now. Picture it.
That's it. 1 1/4. All right, now,
Can you see it now?
right in the center of the bowl.
Now take a nice
Right in the center. Right in the center. Everything
and let's start at the
still
top.
separated.
Way up there.
Okay, next, we're going to mix that bad boy up together until we have
Watching up to the
dough.
and reaching back down to your heart.
Okay,
Now let that red fill up your body. Go on. Take a big
I'm going to start with this electric beater, and this is all I have for any kind of mixer. So we're going to plug that bad boy in.
That wonderful red is dancing.
Attach our beaters to
Do you feel it? Do you feel it?
the unit.
Okay, inhale.
Yes, inhale. Take in the scent of dough.
All the flat and faded dark
Okay,
red.
make sure they're on securely. They are. I'm going to start on slow. Mix everything together now. So that yeast and that sugar is all going to come together now. And we're going to go around and around until we get all nice and clumpy and everything is mixed and combined together into a dough. bottom of the bowl there. Make sure everything's combined. Go on the beater. Okay, well, we can just always brush the rest of that off of there.
A big wide stripe of love. Like a smile. Like a smile from heaven.
Oh, smile on, Richard. Smile on.
Go ahead.
We're talking about rainbows today, folks. We're talking about polishing rainbows, but I'm talking about eating a rainbow. Rainbow bagels. Now, with the rest of that dough is mixed in there, we're going to take our hands and knead it. Because we need this dough. We need it, folks. We need this dough so much. So make sure every little piece, every ingredient, all comes together. And then we're going to press down. Make sure every pieces get picked up as much as possible.
So take a big deep breath. Exhale.
He's talking about breathing now, folks. You got to breathe while you do this. Okay, let's continue.
So go on. You know it's time. It's time.
Okay, so we have a nice
Inhale again.
big
Exhale.
thing of dough.
And out goes all the dusty stuff. The sadness.
All right.
And ice in the corners.
Let's try to get all that in there too and knead it down.
What will the next one be?
Just push down into it, flip it over, do like this.
To be the color of the ocean and the sky all mixed together. So inhale as much
And just use your hands as best as you can to get that to form into a perfect ball.
and feel that blue, that brilliant blue filling you up now. You're floating. You're floating in that blue.
And with the purpose of this is to work out as much air as possible.
Exhale.
Once all those ingredients come together, that's what we're going to need to do is try to get it to be as one consistency or one ball of dough.
It's purple, a color filled with the storm. It's almost over.
Get it to be a nice mound here like this.
Was breaking through. And at that very moment, you know what
Okay.
I saw? Do I
And
have
then-
to tell you?
We're going to let it sit in that bowl.
I remember.
Reach for some plastic wrap. The reason why we need to do that, where's the plastic wrap? It's down here. The reason why we need to do that is we need to let this dough rest. So let's let it rest, and it has to be covered up.
It was all in your face.
So take that dough, let it rest. But it has to be covered. That way the air doesn't slow down the resting process. It has to be rested.
All the way down to my feet. The rainbow
So take that plastic wrap over the entire bowl if you can. Nice tight seal around that whole bowl.
wasn't going to be stopped by any amount of rain.
That's right, Richard. Not one single amount of rain is going to stop your rainbow.
I love that.
Let's let this rest for about 30 minutes, and then in that 30 minutes, it's going to expand. That means it's going to double in size. And then when that time comes, we're going to divide it into 6 different portions, and then place them in 6 different bowls. And then the purpose of that is to let them rest after we've added our color. Then we're going to show you how to go from there. So let's give this 30 minutes. We'll come back, and we'll show you the dough as it's been expanded, and we'll go from there. So see you in 30.
They brighten up when you start loving and taking care of yourself.
Here we go. And now that the dough has rested, now it is time to separate our dough. And what we're going to do is put that to the side so we'll have room to work. And we're just going to take our ball of dough and we're going to roll it into a nice, long, thick log. That's about what we need there. It's like almost like a foot long, doesn't it? Anyway, let's do it. Cutting it half. And that's a little bit more than half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 different pieces. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Easy peasy. Now that you have your 6 different pieces, this comes the fun part. But also the messiest. We're going to take each of our dies, and for this we are going to need Richard Simmons' help. Richard, help me with my rainbow.
My world. Red and orange and yellow.
The colors.
Green.
Blue, and purple. He's naming all the colors of our rainbow.
Streaming out of a huge
Take your first one. We're going to take red.
I guess by this time you know that I just...
And we're going to put
Do you know why I love them so much?
a good pea-sized drop of red.
Always come.
And another good pea-sized drop of red. And another good pea-sized drop of red. 3 pea-sized drop of red. This is food coloring gel. Make sure it's gel. And then in that divot it goes the drops. We're going to fold that in. Fold it in. And this way
Your colors change.
your colors will stay inside of your dough. Knead it. Fold it over.
Just like the rainbow shines.
If it spills onto the counter, use the bread to pick it back up again. This is going to get all over your fingers too, so kind
We
of...
have to love ourselves.
Yeah, so it's all on the inside there. Maybe adding a little bit more will help.
I know you might be saying, Richard, I'm not cheery right now.
Just a little bit.
I feel boring and humdrum.
Looks like it's bleeding. It's bleeding! Oh my god, my bread is bleeding!
We all do sometimes.
A little bit more red wouldn't hurt. Trial and error, trial and error. And get it all over, get it all over, get it all over. My dough is bleeding.
Did you hear that? Oh, it's so dark and heavy, isn't it?
That's about what we need is
Ever
like
felt like that?
a nice consistency of red to go all over my dough, not just
Looked like
the
a small
inside
steak for a second.
When I was young,
or somebody's heart.
every day after school.
There we go. Now it's starting to turn red.
Play with me. When they made fun of me,
Now it's starting to get what we want. See, look, I have to stain my hand in order to do it.
I felt like the sky was going to sit on me until it pushed me into the ground.
But it's red. That's what we need.
The deep, dark red. That red we talked about.
That's the red we talked about.
Anger and the happiness.
Well, there's my happy red. So,
So share that.
before that gets ruined, set that aside.
Felt this clear,
And then
beautiful
we're going to cover it.
of joy. That feeling we must share. So tell,
Yeah.
don't wait a second. Tell us that you love
And then we're going to let this dough rest with the color in it. And this time the plastic wrap
you see?
is clinging a lot better to these porcelain bowls than they are to the plastic bowl. Okay, so here's our red.
Climbed up to the deepest red of joy.
Rinse off all the rest of that dye. You don't need any more red. Next color is going to be orange.
Shine up your rainbow.
Next up, take this one. This is going to be orange. So the water from the previous job will get this moist enough to where hopefully the orange will mix right into it and give us a nice, beautiful orange dough. Once again, make a bowl.
That your tongue was
Now for the orange. I'm going to add just a little bit off the bat.
as if there wasn't any color in your life at all.
This is going to be their orange dough.
Wait.
Let's add a little more for good measure. Right on the top there. Just kind of work that into this side of the dough now.
Come on. Because laughter is something we share.
And then just
That's better. I want you to think of something, some memory, and I want you to laugh. And I want you to look at the yellow.
There's our orange ball.
Look at that yellow color now. It looks like a magnificent sun.
Now we're going to wash the orange away. Hold this one up.
A dark green like when a jungle and it's hot and sticky. Oh, I remember all those things.
Now we're on yellow, Richard. Now we're on yellow. Give it a nice generous portion of yellow because we want this to be bright yellow. We want this to be not doughy colored, but yellow colored. We want yellow all over our dough. So kind of smear it on the middle there. And fold it over, smear it some more, fold it over. Take any excess and just go over the top of that until we have a nice beautiful yellow. And now we're going to take this and mold it into a beautiful yellow ball. And now, look at that. Yellow, beautiful, wonderful, luscious yellow. Look at that, folks. We have yellow dough. And now, we need to fold this inward to make what's on the inside on the outside and continue to knead until we have yellow through and through. Let's hope the orange is through and through too, because I didn't get a chance to check that one. But it is what it is. This is our first attempt at making it.
It looks like it's trying to hug you. Just find a plant you like, or even better, plant some vegetables and watch them grow.
Okay. Now we have yellow, green.
The green of growth.
Oh, green. Hello, Richard. Yes, we're on green now. We're on green now.
Part of your rainbow.
Thank you, Richard.
Polish it up.
I'm gonna do it.
Polish the green.
I'm gonna do it.
I hear another color.
No, we're still on green. I haven't even started on green yet, Richard. Give me a chance.
How do you hear a color?
Are you blue?
I don't hear colors.
Feeling down the dumps? Like
I mean, you can feel the colors of the wind, but hearing the colors of the wind, what does it sound like? Anyway, stretch this out a bit and hopefully make me come up with a more ingenious way of getting that green all over. Give it a little twist and let that green kind of just seep all over, and we're going to get this dye all over our fingers, and then right into our dough it goes, and just knead it and get it in there and get it in the middle of it while you still have dye on your hands. Go to the middle of it and make sure the middle of your dye has all this luscious green, and make sure it's green all through and through. And look at it. Here it comes, the green dough.
shake it up. Dance around.
And then we'll be looking like a Ninja Turtle.
Pull your legs. Get some oxygen going in your body.
And we'll look like, there's our green. Okay, wash the green out of our hair. Blue is next. We're going to use blue now.
All the pieces of my life just weren't fitting perfectly together. I have to admit, I was just a mess.
Okay, get that going, and let's get some blue going in there.
Too many balls up in the air at once. That's what I was like. A frantic
Nice,
juggler.
big, generous portion of beautiful blue.
On falling.
And now, time to turn into a Smurf.
And my God.
Blue. Here comes the blue dye. All over the fingers, all over the hands, all over the dough, and look at us go. We're gonna spread it. Go on this side, spread it with the dye. Make sure it's all in there. Then go ahead and knead that stuff in the middle. Bring the inside out. Make sure it gets touched with all that blue dye on your hands, all the excess dye going into our dough ball. Make sure it all gets in there. And make sure it runs through and through, leaving no stone unturned. Now we're bringing the middle out to the top. Make sure we do this for folding it over our fingers, bringing the middle to the outside, and the outside to the middle, and continue kneading until you have a fully blue. Once you add that dye, it's going to get nice and sticky, so plop that down. Okay. Get this sticky stuff off my hands. Hopefully this will turn out to be the best thing I've created since, God knows what. But hopefully it'll be good. Okay, there's our blue. So that's all starting to come together. Now let's go to our final color, which is purple. Yes, and purple is also going to be the biggest ball next to red, because we have most of the red and most of the purple, and everything in between is kind of like the other colors there. But this one got the most dough in it, so I wasn't able to... I thought I may have evened it up, but look at that, we got a little color of everything in there. But we're going to really color this up with purple. And now Richard Simmons is done speaking to us in rainbow speak. What are we going to do now without his colorful wisdom? We will find out as we start to turn this dough into a beautiful purple. Let's do it. Okay, stretch it, twist it, go like this, get it all over the fingers, and now all over this and all over that, and turn this into a beautiful purple. Look at that. And look, in an instant, it's all purple except for the inside of it. And let's do that again, over the hands, get the excess in there. Get it all over, knead it, knead it, knead it, knead it. And keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Get that purple in there, get that purple in there, work that purple, work that purple. I don't think we need any more purple. I think we've done a bang-up job there. You know, and what good is making rainbow bagels like this if you don't make a mess all over your hands? This is the beauty part of making this recipe. The dirtier you get, the more fun it is. So don't look to this as, oh my God, what a mess. Look at it as, hey look, I'm turning it all 6 different shades of color here. This is fun. Come on, remember when you were kids, you couldn't wait to get this messy. Well, now you get to be this messy once again in the kitchen. Only the mess will hopefully just go on your hands, and that's that. There's our purple. And now once back into the hot water of doom, we have completed our balls of dough. We have also tie-dyed our hands. This is tie-dyed hands, folks. You can walk around with tie-dyed hands after this recipe. I sure am. It's going to be real interesting to see what everybody says at work when they see how colorful my hands are. And there's like, what happened? Did you tie-dye clothing and it got on your hands instead? I'm like, no, I made rainbow bagels. So we're going to let this rest. And there we go. So there's all your colors. Purple, blue, green, orange, yellow, and red. All 6 colors of the rainbow. And now we're going to let that rest for another 30 minutes or until we're ready to roll again, which is about maybe 30-45 minutes, give or take, and I'll let you know when we get to that point. So 30 minutes at least to let that dough rest. And then we're going to roll it out, layer it up, roll it together, and make rainbow bagels. While we're waiting for those to rest, and as you can see, the dough is already starting to puffen up, and it's only been about 10 minutes. And look how much they're expanding in size, and that's exactly what we want them to do. Expand in size, and that way they'll let them rest, let them dry out a little bit, with the let the dice kind of like settle into the dough. And when we roll it out, it won't go all over the place like our counter. So what do you say we take this time and make our confetti cream cheese? And we're going to start by whipping the cream cheese. We've got 3 boxes of cream cheese in this bowl. I'm going to start by working this down into a whipped consistency. Almost like cheesecake, isn't it? Just one of those days of making cheesecake. It's just like the same thing. I mean, it's going to be a whipped spread that we're going to be having. Okay, so let me get this side down and start again. Okay, go through my beaters. So instead of the eggs and all that stuff that we usually add to make cream cheese, this is just straight cream cheese. Oh, watch out, it's shooting. Shooting. Okay. I'm gonna sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. Oh, it looks like somebody's birthday. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle with as much rainbow sprinkles as you want. As much as you want. As much as you want. And this is how we make confetti cream cheese. Why confetti cream cheese? Because it makes it look lively, delicious. It makes it look like a party And that's exactly what we want this food to do, is to become a party that everybody can enjoy. And we're just going to try to stir that in as best as we can. And look, your cream cheese will even start to turn different colors. Look at that. Color swirl. Swirl that spoon around as best as you can. Get those sprinkles to get mixed into our cream cheese. The next thing we're going to do, for an extra bonus, just add a little bit more, but we're just going to leave it like that. And now we've gone from colorful cream cheese to back into confetti cream cheese. So, if you want to be technical about it, this is colorful confetti cream cheese that we made ourselves from just plain old ordinary white cream cheese that we got from the store and turned it into something you can't get at the store. At least not yet, anyway. Here comes the fun part. Okay, we're going to take the salt. We're going to take some of this. We're going to put water. We're going to put enough in there to where we can set the bagels down into the water. And this is what's going to give your bagels a nice, beautiful sheen. This is what gives bagels its sheen colors. We're going to take a skillet full about halfway filled with water, like that, or maybe 3/4 filled with water. Put it over the burner and get it started. We're going to turn that up to 4, and then we're going to come over here with our salt, and we're going to need about a half a teaspoon of salt. Half a teaspoon of salt for the water. It's a little salt water. That gives it a little bit of a flavor. Makes it taste less bland. Okay, a little teaspoon of salt. A little bit more than that. And that should be good. About a teaspoon or so of salt, just add it to taste. And next, we're going to have to now work with our dough, because we take some time to make our cream cheese over there, and our dough should be ready to go. Now, saving the purple for last, we're going to start with red.
That was the first one.
That was the first one, yep. And also the first color of the rainbow. I'm going to start with red. Okay, now that the dye has set in, it's a little less sticky than it was, and a little lighter weight too. Now what we're going to do is we're going to press the dough out, press the dough, and then we're going to need to roll our dough into a nice rectangular shape, as rectangular as you can get, to be about a foot long, if you can. If you can't, then just roll it out to however long you think you can make it, just as long as it's rectangular and that every single layer that you make is going to be the same size. So that's about a foot's length. Okay, now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to borrow a towel or cloth. Let's see if that can go over that. For the most part it does. I'm going to dampen this cloth. Okay. Get it all nice and moist, and then we're going to drape it right over there. Make sure it's damp and not drenched. So wring that out really good. And of course, I'm going to go with the Ninja Turtles to help keep our dough nice and covered. Now let's get 2 on there just to make sure it's fully covered. Okay, this just has to be moist. It doesn't have to be damp, it doesn't have to be drenched, it doesn't have to be saturated or anything, it just has to be moist. So a damp towel will keep your dough all prevent it from drying. So I should have moved it over here first. Let's move our dough over here. Okay. And we're going to have to layer this. This is going to have to be layered. So our red will now get covered by the turtles. A little bit. Okay, good. Next color. Orange is the next color of our rainbow. So let's get our orange out and do the same thing. Okay. And here comes our orange. Okay. And we're just going to press it down. Press it down. Go to the other side. Press it down, press it down, press it down, press it down. Okay. Now, I'm going to roll it out. Just like we did before. Up and down until you get a nice rectangular shape going. That should do it. And we're going to take our orange layer right on top of the red layer. And if it doesn't seem to be stretched, kind of just make it stretch. Make it stretch out. Make it stretch out. Cover it back up again. Keep it moist. Keep it together. Good. Next, go for our yellow. Yellow is the next color in our rainbow. Okay, we'll get our yellow out. Put it down. Knead it down a bit. Turn it over, knead it. Good. And as you can see, that die did a pretty good job of, settling down. Okay, go across first. We need to go across first, then up and down. Make sure it's nice and even and stretches out to about the same size as that one there. Let's get him to be there. Start at the edge here, kind of stretch it out to match. And you can do that too, kind of, because the dough will be sticky enough. You can stretch it out the rest of the way to match the layers underneath. Beautiful. Matches. Damp cloth. Keep that moist. Damp cloth. Next, green. Green is our next color of the rainbow. And I smell a lot of dough in here. You will smell a ton of dough when you make this recipe. It's going to smell just like a bakery. Okay, get that started, get it started. And now we roll. Okay, that one's a little stickier, so yeah. Let me just try to work with you as best as I can.
Tiny sprinkle of flour?
Should be okay if I go in one direction. And as you can see, it didn't really stay fully green, but hopefully it'll give us a good presentation nonetheless. Hopefully. Because remember, we're trying this for the first time, and sometimes when you're working on a brand new recipe, it can look intimidating for you. It can look like something you will not be able to do. Just give it the old college try. You never know. You never know how it's going to turn out. And if you know you can't do it, then don't do it anymore. Or learn. Be even better. Learn how to make it better. If you're that persistent about it. But you can't be afraid of food. Okay? Can't be afraid of food. Now, that's a kind of an unusual shape. But remember, we just want it to conform to the bottom layer of, which is the most green, and we'll just use that. Okay. And we'll just put this over here, put this over here. Damp cloth. Damp cloth. Next color, blue. Blue has got a lot of dough to it, and so does purple. So blue and purple are going to dominate this rainbow bangle. Okay. As you can see, the blue, very, very blue, and very, very ready to be rolled out. Okay. Now, some of your dough may still be sticky, and it would help to, may help to add just a little tiny bit of flour, but not enough to color it. But yeah, if it gets to be like that, just Add a little bit of flour there. A little pinch of flour. That's all you really need, and then put it on the counter here. That should make it easier to roll, and it does. Okay, get that out of my way. Okay, you just need a little tiny bit of flour. Not enough to where it'll color that white or to lose any of the color in your blue. That's what we don't want. We want to be able to roll it, but we don't want to whiten it any more than what it needs to be. Put that right over there, and very little stretching needs to be done with this one because we were able to roll it completely out. So that's that. Stretch that out as best as you can. Get that to conform to the rest of your stack there. Okay, now cover it back with the damp towels or damp cloths, whatever you happen to have handy, and go for your final color, purple. Purple is our very last color of the rainbow. And now, all of our plastic is done. Purple. Okay, I'm going to sort this out a little bit. Add a little pinch of flour to make it less sticky. Put some on the counter. Kind of work that in a bit. Turn it over. Don't need too much though, remember that. We don't want to turn this white. We just want it so that we can work with it, so we can roll it out and it won't stick to our pan. I roll the purple right over the blue, and as you can see, it almost fits just as perfect as the others. Just kind of stretch this out a little bit, and once again, damp cloth. Damp cloth. Let that sit there for a while and let that just kind of settle in. Reach for your parchment paper, and with parchment paper we're going to line that baking dish, baking sheets rather, with some just good old regular parchment paper. First we have to get it started because it's a brand new roll, and there we go. Lay your parchment paper down, bend it around, that way it doesn't fly all over the place. There we go. Beautiful. Now, you can fold it in too to make sure it does conform to the shape of your baking tray, but it is what it is. Okay, that is ready. Parchment paper, you've been good to me. Okay, stay over there. Now, are you ready? Are you set? Let's remove our moist cloths. Set those aside. Now we're going to take up our entire layer of rainbow bagels. There it is. And what we're going to do, I'm just ready for the sharp knife. I'm going to go across the waist, about 1.5 inches in, straight down like so. And we're going to do that again. 1.5 inches in, about there should do it. All the way down in a straight line. So that way you have 3 sections. What we're going to do, I'm going to pull this apart. And see the rainbow? That's what your bagel is going to look like. Now, we're going to twist this. Twist it, twist it, twist it, twist it. Make sure it stays together as you twist, and twist it, twist it, twist it, and twist. So that you look like this. Okay, now, what we're going to do, something fun. We're going to take our log and roll it so that all of our layers becomes one solid rope of dough in all of the colors that we made. What we're going to do is going to take the center of our palm, tuck it in with your thumb, go around once, and where that meets with your dough, make a nice tight circle there, and where that meets, we're going to pull it. Pull it. There. You see that? That's where you're going to meet, where one end meets the other. And then we're going to kind of give it a little roll like this. Like that. Okay? And it looks a little funny there, so we're going to try to make this as even as possible again by getting some of this dough over to here and try to even up this dough as much as possible, because since this is from the end It's going to be kind of uneven and weird looking when we're done. Hopefully it won't be. I worked so hard on this, and I hope that it does, in fact, look and resemble like bagels. So I'm going to take and roll it out, roll it out, roll it out, roll it out. Try to even it up as best as we can. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to squeeze it a little bit, make sure it looks good, make sure it looks good. That's a nice little bagel there. Not as big as the other one, but who cares? You know what? They're going to be homemade, they're going to look homemade, they're going to be homemade. And while those are boiling up, you want to leave those down for about a minute per side. A minute per side, nothing more than that. And then, I know I could use a spatula, but I'm just going to very gently use the tip of this knife. And a minute for this one, flip it over. A minute for this guy, and flip it over. And a minute on that side. Minute while we do this. Come over here, do the same thing. We're going to twist it, just like before. Or we can go the opposite direction. Let's go the opposite way. So that way, no, it doesn't matter which way you go. The red is always going to show through the purple. Okay, now roll it. Roll it up to where it's nice and even. Right onto our parchment paper there. Right there. Right there. Okay, let that stay. And now, here we go again. And we're going to take it around our palm. Where one end meets the other, we're going to tear it like that. Okay, well, we got a little bit more than what we bargained for, but that's okay. Sometimes you need a little extra, so that way that extra dough, yeah, that's what we needed, that extra dough. Look at that. Doesn't look weird anymore. It looks like it's perfect. All right, we're going to take our hand, roll until both of your ends become one. We don't want them to separate. And if you can, squeeze them down, sculpt it, sculpt it, sculpt it, until, look at that beautiful bagel. Look at that beautiful, wonderful, colorful bagel. I'm going to drop that down in our water. Lay down your bagels. Your bagels are not touching one another. Because if they are touching one another, that could be very bad. We're just going to make sure that that stays. There we go. Okay, so that's about what we need right there. Everything's spaced at least an inch, maybe an inch and a half apart, or however far apart you can get them. Okay. That bagel's going to be the best one. Now, into the oven for 20 minutes. And while we are waiting 20 minutes, we'll see you in 20 minutes. Alright, it's been about 20 minutes. Let's check on our bagels. I really hate to cover up this colorful hand, but I feel I got to. Ah, there we go. And now we're ready to pull out our bagels. Here they come. Ooh. Well, okay, so it looks like the purple got a little overcooked. But I could have come out of the oven a little earlier, but for the most part, I'm pretty pleased. I'm just going to poke it right in the center there. It's going to be kind of hot, so I will try to maneuver this as best as possible because I want to take a look inside and see how far along we're coming there. Well, it smells like a bagel. It feels like a bagel. Definitely need to let this cool a bit before you dip into it, but well, I just want to see how far along we are here on this bagel. But otherwise, folks, you should really let this cool for about at least 10 minutes before serving it.
Don't know if the camera's picking it up, but yeah, there's some steam.
Look at that. Wow. That is a very colorful bagel. Very colorful. Now, let's hit it with some of this cream cheese confetti. I'm just going to spread it on there for a little added extra color. And just get that cream cheese all over there. need it to spread all over that. And I want to give this a taste. Or my very first rainbow bagel that I made myself. And you can make this too, just as easily. Yeah. Tastes just like a bagel. Albeit a plain bagel. But the beauty part is using rainbow sprinkles gives it a little bit of an extra sweet flavor to it. Otherwise, other than the mess that we made and some of the mistakes we made about the browning of the purple here, other than that, hell, I'm pretty damn pleased. I am amazed. I actually made rainbow bagels, folks. So this just goes to show, never be intimidated by food. Never be intimidated by a recipe you don't know. All you gotta do is follow the directions, tackle that recipe as if your life depends on it, and you show food who's boss. You could be the very next person to make these rainbow bagels yourself. So, that just about does it here in the kitchen of Cooking with SonicBlu. I'm going to finish the rest of this half of a bagel and continue on with my evening. For Cooking with SonicBlu, this is SonicBlu Darkfold saying, if you're not cooking good, you're not eating good. And no matter how bland your world may be, perk it up with a little color. You'll be surprised with what you can do. It's his very own rainbow.
Colors of my world. Red and orange and yellow and gold, green and blue and purple. And these wonderful colors
They're going to be in our bagel. Those wonderful colors are going to be in our bagel tonight. The red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, and the purple. It's all going to be in our bagel, Richard. We got it all covered. Anyhow.
You know why? We're supposed to be happy. And laughter is the sound of happiness.
Laughter. Yes, if Richard Simmons was here now, he'd be laughing at me for the many wonderful colors that we are turning our skin. Let's get it all over there.
The yellow. It gets so
I'm not on yellow yet. I'm still on orange.
Banana, which is always smiling.
A smiling banana?
Your sunglasses.
Smiling
You'll see what I
banana.
mean.
Richard, you're talking nonsense. A smiling
And I
banana?
want to see a big smile from you too.
Oh.
Now come on.
No, I'm going to smile when I know this recipe works, Richard. Thank you.
Shake your blues.
I'm shaking my green right now. I'm not on blue yet.
Blues aren't so
Come on, I'm not on blue yet, Richard. You're going too fast for me.
Look, if you keep on shaking your blues, look what happens. The sky, it opens up.
Oh, no. Sky's going to open up. That means one thing. It's going to start raining in here, folks. I hope it doesn't get on my nice clean green dough. But here is
So remember this.
our green.
Remember when things
Plop it down in there. Reach for our plastic wrap.
you've got to move. You've got to change.
I'm moving, Richard. I'm moving, Richard, as fast as I can get to the next color. And you've already touched on blue. I'm late. I can't keep up with Richard Simmons, folks.